So I wanted to make one final video on the 1970 CT70H that we've been putting together for the last few months. I actually spent about as much time on it as I expected to. Did things a little bit slower than I did on the 76 bike, but I learned a lot of lessons from that build that I felt like I did a better job on this one. So anyway, really pleased with the way that the bike came out in total. Initially I was planning on having it be a little more original, but I couldn't help but end up with the Life in 125 motor, which runs really well. I just did a top speed run right now and I was getting 53, 54 miles per hour off of the GPS, and it looks like the speedometer that I put on the bike also is pretty accurate because it was pretty close to what it was showing on the GPS. But really fast and really rideable. Riding around town is pretty nice. I registered it in the state of Vermont like I did the other bike, and I have another video that shows how to do that. And on the 76 bike, I actually used that registration from Vermont to get it titled in the state of Florida, and I'll eventually do the same for this bike. But that also helps boost up the resale, and just a nice thing to really complete the build of a bike like this. So here it is. Again, really pleased with how it came out. I used higher quality parts in some places. The fenders are OEM Honda fenders. I'm not sure if they're new old stock or if they're continuing to be produced, but the quality of these fenders are much higher than the reproductions that I used on the 76 bike. Some of these other chrome pieces, like the engine guard here and the handlebars, were reproductions from CHP Motorsports, and the quality of these are very high. The throttle system I used, the OEM Honda parts, so it's the internal throttle mechanism, and it took a lot of adjustments to get that just right, but really happy with the way that that came out. For this one in particular, I had to do a lot of shaving inside of the throttle tube to make it as smooth as it is now, but really happy with the way that the whole bike rides. Again, I used powder coating from the start this time, and that made a big difference on the quality of the finish that the bike has. Underneath the seat, I ended up doing a 12-volt power system, which required also changing the bulbs out of the tail light and the headlight, because the ones that I bought came stock with the 6-volt power system that the bike originally came with. But having the 12-volt just makes it that much easier. I also installed pigtails so I can keep it on the trickle charger when I'm not riding the bike. The gas tank also was a reproduction, I believe, from CHP. It's not seen. It does a great job though. All it does is hold your fuel. And on the 76 bike, I refinished a rusted one, and that took a lot of work. It was, in this case, much easier just to buy a new one. This tail bracket, I think I got off eBay. Obviously a reproduction, but pretty high quality. I like the way that it looks. And again, with as much time as I spent on the 76 bike, refinishing it and then powder coating it, in this case, it was much easier just to buy something off of the shelf that fit and was in perfect condition. So I've got a few other ideas for the next bike that I'm going to work on. I've got my Monkey Z50 shirt on that my wife got me for Christmas, if that's an indication of where things might go. But again, really enjoyed building this bike, and so this is one that I'm going to keep. The 76 bike I sold for about as much as it cost me to build. This bike actually ended up costing me more than the 76 bike, again because I used some higher quality parts, and in some cases just bought a new part instead of refinishing it like I did on the 76 one. But because of that, and because of how well it rides and how much I enjoy it, I'm going to keep this bike hopefully forever. I had one of these a long time ago, and that actually inspired me to buy the 2019 Honda Monkey, which then got me thinking about the old real CT70. So I got the 76 bike, and now this 70 bike, and now maybe next the Z50 bike. But this is one that's going to stay in the garage for the long haul. So I'm sure this bike will be in other videos that I do, riding it around, maybe doing some moto vlogs. But I really appreciate everybody that stuck around and all the comments on the build. The comments for this bike and all the other things that I work on this YouTube channel really help me figure out things that I didn't know, and give me good suggestions for how I should do things differently. So anyway, I really appreciate everybody's viewership. Stick around for more videos. Thanks a lot.